You have been listening to Magical Musical Moments with Sammy Hammond. And now, station WDHL, broadcasting from the Delhi Cultural Arts Event Center, presents A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt about that whatever. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon anything he put his hand to. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. How could it be otherwise? Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole friend, his sole mourner. Scrooge was an excellent man of business on the very day of the funeral, and solemnized it with an undoubted bargain. Oh, a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. No warmth could warm him. No cold could chill him. No wind that blew was more bitter than he. But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he desired. To edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance. Once upon a time, of all the good days of the year, upon a Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. Cold, bleak, biting, foggy weather, and the city clocks had only just struck 4. But it was quite dark already. The door of the counting house was open, that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, who was copying letters in a dismal little cell by a small fire of 1 coal.
Come in.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle Scrooge! God save you!
Bah, humbug!
Christmas a humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, Uncle. What right have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be gloomy? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug!
Oh, don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Out upon Merry Christmas. What is Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without any money? A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I had my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle!
Have you? Keep Christmas in your own way, and let me keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then. Much good may it do you, much good has it ever done you.
There are many things which have brought me good which haven't made me a prophet. I've always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in a long calendar of the year when men and women open their shut-up hearts freely. And therefore, Uncle, though it's never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good, and I say God bless it.
And God bless you, good fellow. Merry Christmas.
Let me hear another sound from you, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your job.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
Good afternoon.
But, Uncle, why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry with all of my heart to find you so resolute. We've never had any quarrel to which I've been a party, but I will keep Christmas humor to the last. So, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. That's a fine one. 15 shillings a week, a wife and family talking about a Merry Christmas. Bah, humbug. Come in. Come in.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley's been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night.
At this festive season of year, Mr. Scrooge, 'tis more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and the destitute, who suffer greatly at the present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessities.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are still. I wish I could say they are not.
The treadmill and the poorhouse are in full vigor then.
Both very busy, sir.
Oh, I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. I am very glad to hear it.
Under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitude, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this because it is a time of all others when want is keenly felt, for abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. Since you asked me what I wish, that is my answer. I help to support the prisons and the workhouses. Those who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there. Many would rather die.
If they would rather die, then they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon, sir.
But, good day.
Christmas. Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge?
And you, Cratchit, you'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose?
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. It's not fair. If I were not to pay you for tomorrow, you'd think yourselves mighty ill-used, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
And yet, you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning.
Indeed, sir. It's after 5 o'clock, sir, and I'll be on my way. A Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas.
With the closing of the door, so was Scrooge closing his heart and dismissing Christmas as a mere irritation. Scrooge took his usual melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and, having read all his newspapers and banker's book, he went home. He lived in chambers which had once belonged to his deceased partner. They were a gloomy set of rooms. The building was old enough now, and dreary enough, for nobody lived in it but Scrooge.
Hounds, wolves that dress as God's own saints each Christmas Eve. It's a strong lock that keeps them from my door. Or this door knocker that rests too high for their paws to... Jacob Marley. It's not a knocker at all. It's Jacob's face. On the door, Jacob's face. No. It's just the night mist, nothing more. It's just a door. Humbug.
Up Scrooge went, up the stairs, preparing a candle for his night table, not caring a button for its being very dark. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. But before he went into his chambers, he walked through the rooms to see that all was in order. The face on the door was still clear in his mind. Sitting room, bedroom, table, nobody under the sofa, nobody under the bed, and nobody in the closet. And then, quite satisfied, he closed his door and locked himself in. Double locked himself in, which was not his custom. Then, secure against surprise, he put on his dressing gown his slippers and nightcap and sat down before the fire.
Now I can be comfortable.
He threw back his head in the chair. His glance happened to rest upon a small bell that hung in the room.
What's happening? Bells. What is that horrible clanking noise? It sounds as if it's just below. Now it's in the hall outside. The door. Oh no!
Ebenezer!
It's a humbug still. I won't believe it. It speaks. It's coming.
Ebenezer Scrooge!
To the door. Who is it? I can see clearly through you, the spectre. What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Can you sit down?
I can.
Do it then.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence do you have of my reality beyond that of your senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. Mercy! Dreadful apparition, why do you trouble me? Why do spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow man, and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. Through the world, and witness that it cannot share happiness.
You are chained, Jacob. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life, made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses wrought in steel. I made it link by link and yard by yard. Wow.
Jacob, oh Jacob Marley, tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. It comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge, and is conveyed by other ministers to other kinds of men. I cannot tell you all that I would. A very little more is permitted to me. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. Weary journeys let life before me.
But you are always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business! Oh, blind man! Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance were all my business. The dealings of my trade were all but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. At this time of the ruling year, I suffer most.
Jacob, I am afraid.
Hear me! My time is nearly gone!
I will listen, but don't be hard upon me.
How is it that I appear before you in a shape that you can see? I may not tell. I have that invisible beside me, you many and many a day, and it is no longer part of my penance. I am here tonight to warn you that you yet have a chance and hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
You were always a good friend to me. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob? I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow night, when the bell tolls 12.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night at the stroke of 1, the third upon the next night when the hour of 2 has ceased its vibration. Look to see me no more, and look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us. My time is gone. Heed me, Ebenezer!
Jacob, please! Wait, I beg you!
Heed me, Ebenezer!
The window! Jacob, oh, the air's filled with phantoms! Wandering spirits, all in chains like you, Jacob! Wait, I know some of these men. I have known them. Now in misery they seek to help, but they are chained. Oh, no. I must lie down. I must lie down. I am so tired. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It was past 2 when I went to bed. Why, it isn't possible that I could have slept through a whole day and far into another night. Is it possible that something happened to the sun? And this is 12 at noon. No, it can't be. It's impossible.
The curtains of his bed were drawn aside by a hand. Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them. As close to it as I am to you. It was a strange, childlike figure. It wore a tunic of purest white and held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand. But in singular contradiction of that wintry emblem, its dress was trimmed with summer flowers.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past. The things that you will see with me are shadows of the things that have been. They will have no consciousness of us.
What business brings you here?
Your welfare. Rise and walk with me through the window.
Window? Spirit, I am a mortal liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
Spirit.
Scrooge, we have arrived.
Spirit. The city has vanished. The road with fields on either side. Oh, good heaven. Good heaven, I was bred in this place. I was a boy here. Oh, the snow, the smell of the air, it makes me remember and think.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that upon your cheek?
It's just a blemish, a scratch. Take me where you will.
You recollect the way?
Remember it? I could walk it blindfolded.
Strange you have forgotten it for so many years. Let us go on.
This place, every gate, every post and tree. I know it. The town, the bridge, and the river. And the people with their ponies and carts, so happy. Spirit, it's Christmas time here, isn't it?
Yes, Scrooge.
Every building, the stores, and the school. My school.
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child neglected by his friends is left there still.
I know it. The place is the same. The ceiling cracked, the room dirty, and myself all alone. Yes, myself. But there's someone at the door.
Dear, dear brother, I've come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home, home, home.
Home, little Fan?
Yes, home for good and all, forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home is like heaven. He spoke to me so gently one night that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you would like to come home, and he said yes, you should, and he sent me a coach to bring you home. We are to be together all Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world.
You're quite a woman, little Fan.
Let's hurry.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had such a large heart.
So she had. You are right. I will not deny it, Spirit. God forbid.
She died a woman and had children, I think.
One child.
True. Your nephew.
Yes.
Come, Scrooge. Do you know this place?
Know it? I was apprenticed here. This warehouse.
And do you know the man behind the desk?
Yes, right, it's old Fezziwig, bless his heart. It's Fezziwig, fat, jolly fellow, oh, he's alive again.
Ho there! Ebenezer! Dick!
And those two lads he calls, do you know them?
Why, it's myself, as a young man, a living, moving picture, and Dick Wilkins. my old fellow's apprentice. Bless me, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, he was. Poor Dick, dear, dear.
Yo-ho, my boys! No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can say, Jack Robinson! Clear away, me lads, and let's have lots of room here!
There was nothing they wouldn't have cleared away, or couldn't have cleared away, with old Fezziwig looking on. It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed off, as if it were dismissed from public life forevermore. The floor was swept and watered, the lamps were trimmed, fuel was heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug and warm and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night. In came a fiddler with a music book and tuned like 50 stomach aches. In came Mrs. Fezziwig.
Merry
one vast,
Christmas, all.
substantial smile. In came the 3 Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came all the young men and women employed in the business, the housemaid with her cousin, the baker. In came the cook and the milkman. In they all came, one after another, some pushing, some pulling. There were dances and games and more dances. There was cake and pudding and a great piece of cold-boiled, mince pies and plenty of beer.
Look at Fezziwig! Look at him there. Isn't he wonderful? Look how he dances. No one's better than he. Isn't he glorious? Look at old Fezziwig, just as he was. Oh, I remember him so. And Mrs. Fezziwig, too. What a lovely, lovely party.
When the clock struck 11, the ball broke up. Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig took their stations and shook the hand of every guest and wished all a Merry Christmas.
Oh, dear, dear Mr. Fezziwig.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude. What is the matter, Scrooge?
Nothing in particular.
Something, I think.
No, I should just like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit, right now, that's all.
Ah, my time grows short. Do you know these two, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Yes. It is myself again, but older now in my prime of life.
And the girl with you?
She was my betrothed. Spirit, please.
Listen.
It matters very little to you. Very little. Another idol has displaced me.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one. You fear the world too much. I have seen your hopes and dreams dwindle to nothing as wealth becomes the most important thing of all to you.
What then? I am not changed towards you. Am I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells me that you were not what you were. How often and keenly I've thought of this, I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it and can release you.
Have I ever sought release from our engagement?
In words, no, never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. If we were to wed, would you not surely regret it? No. I release you, Ebenezer, with a heart full of love for the man you once were.
But
The memory of what is past almost makes me hope that you will have pain in hearing this. In a very brief time, you will dismiss the recollections of it, an unprofitable dream from which it happened well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen. Goodbye.
Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more.
No.
Another Christmas.
No more. I don't wish to see it. Show me no more.
One shadow more.
It is her again, but much older, matronly. Spirit, that man with him, is her husband.
Listen.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours this afternoon.
Who was it?
Guess.
Oh, how can I? I don't know. Mr. Scrooge.
Why, Ebenezer Scrooge it was.
Oh.
I passed his office window, and it was not shut up, and had a candle inside. I could scarcely help but see him. I hear his partner lies upon the point of death.
No.
And there he sat, alone.
No, please.
Quite alone in the world.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I have told you there were shadows of the things that have been. Do not blame me that they are what they are.
Remove me! I cannot bear it. Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer. My room. I am back in my chamber. And so tired again. So tired.
Scrooge is asleep. And what strange dreams twist and spin through his brain now. He will sleep, but just for a while.
What is this?
Scrooge awoke in his own bed. He was quite sure of that, but around him he saw that the room had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked like a perfect grove. Heaped upon the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys and puddings and great bowls of punch. And there, in easy state upon this couch, sat a giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch and raised it to shed light on Scrooge as he peered around his bedpost.
"Come closer, closer, and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the like of me before."
Never. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night in compulsion, and I learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you are to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, and we are begun.
Scrooge did as he was told, and held it fast. All vanished instantly. The room, the fire, the ruddy glow, the hour of the night. Holding the spirit's robe, Scrooge passed over the city streets on Christmas morning, arriving at the home of his clerk, Bob Cratchit.
Blessed be this house, and all who dwell in it.
Why, this is Bob Cratchit's house, his wife and children.
Listen, Scrooge.
What could possibly be keeping your dear father and your brother, Tiny Tim, and Martha, your sister?
Here I am, Mother.
Here's Mother. Martha, come look. We've such a goose this Christmas.
Why, bless my heart, my dear, how late you are.
We had a great deal of work to finish in the shop this morning, Mother.
Well, never mind. So long as you're here, sit down by the fire, daughter, and be warm. God bless you. Here's your father and Tiny Tim.
Spirit, the boy walks with a crutch. Such a small and fragile child.
Hello, hello. Come for Christmas, I have. And I've brought me a friend for dinner. This boy here. Found him in the snow, I did.
And how did our little Tim behave, Bob?
Oh, as good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful, sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you ever heard. He told me, coming home, that he hoped the people saw him in the church, because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant for them to remember, upon Christmas Day, who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. Such a fine son.
Oh, I worry so about him. His health, so weak, but such a fine son.
Children, a Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Yes, Tim, everyone.
Spirit, tell me Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and I see a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die. No, kind spirit, say he will be spared. Shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my kind will find him here. What then? If he is like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
No, spirit.
Man, if you are a man in your heart, do not say such words until you have discovered what the surplus is and where it is. Will you decide what men will live, what men will die? It may be that in the sight of heaven, you are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child, oh God.
Mr. Scrooge, a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
Founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks to the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. Oh, you know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you. Poor fellow.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
To Mr. Scrooge, Merry Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge.
Yes, let us be very merry. Come.
There is nothing of high mark in this. They are not a handsome family, not well dressed, pockets far from filled, clothes scanty. But they are happy, grateful, pleased to be with one another, and contented with the time. In spite of all their hardships, Scrooge, they are happy. God will bless them, every one. Come.
Scrooge and the spirit went along the streets, and the brightness of the roaring fires in parlors and all sorts of rooms was wonderful.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Spirit, that is my nephew's voice.
No, he said that Christmas was a humbug, and as I live, he believed it too. Oh, he is a comical old fellow, that's the truth. And not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he is very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
What of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He does not a bit of good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he's ever going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. No, I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried, who suffers by his own ill whims himself. Always here he takes into his head to dislike us. He won't come and dine with us, but what's the consequence? He won't lose much of a dinner.
Husband! I think he loses a very good dinner.
I suppose, indeed. My friends, let's be merry and have it again. Yes and no. Yes, again. Yes and no. Yes and no. I'll think of something, and you must find out what it is, but I can only answer in yes or no. No. Right, I have it. Alive? Yes.
Is it an animal?
Yes.
A dog?
No.
A cat?
No.
A bird?
No.
A savage animal?
Oh, yes.
That grunts and grunts?
Yes.
Does it live in the food?
No.
In the circus?
No.
Is it being sold in the market?
Hardly.
A tiger?
No.
A bear?
No.
Does it talk?
Why, yes.
Do people make a show of it?
Certainly not.
Oh, and quite disagree with you, sir.
Yes.
Oh, wait a moment. I know what it is, Fred. I know what
What
it is.
is it?
It's your Uncle Scrooge.
Yes. Now, he has given us plenty of merriment, I'm sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. So here's a glass of wine to which I toast Uncle Scrooge. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever he is. Now, he wouldn't take it from me, but may he have it nevertheless. Uncle Scrooge. Uncle Scrooge.
Yes.
Come, Scrooge.
Much they saw, and far they went, and many homes they visited, but always with a happy ending. The spirit stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful by poverty, and it was rich. The spirit left his blessing and taught Scrooge his lessons.
My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark, the time is drawing near.
Forgive me if I am not justified in what I ask, but I see something strange, not belonging to yourself, protruding from your skirts. Is it a foot or a claw?
It might be a claw, for the flesh there is upon it. Look here. Look down here.
From the foldings of its robe, it brought two children, wretched, abject, hideous, miserable. They kneeled down at its feet and clung to the outside of its garment. They were a boy and a girl, yellow, meager, ragged, scowling, wolfish, but prostrate too in their humility. Where graceful youth should have filled their features out and touched them with its freshest tints, a stale and shriveled hand had pinched and twisted them and pulled them into shreds. Where angels might have sat enthroned, devils lurked and glared out menacingly.
Oh, Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's, and they cling to me, appealing from their fathers. This boy is ignorance, this girl is want. Beware them both, and all of their degree. But most of all, beware the boy. For on his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased. Beware, I say.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no prisons, Scrooge? Are there no workhouses?
How short a time it takes for a man like Scrooge to see what it is he needs to know about himself and others. As the bell struck 2, Scrooge remembered the prediction of Jacob Marley, and lifting up his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist along that ground toward him. The phantom slowly, gravely, silently approached. When it came near him, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for in the very air through which the spirit moved, it seemed to scatter gloom and misery. It was shrouded in a deep black garment which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand.
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You are about to show me the shadows of the things that have not happened but will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, I am prepared to bear your company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me?
It gave him no reply. The hand was pointed straight before them.
Lead on. Lead on. The night is waning fast and is precious to me, I know. Lead on, Spirit. What is this place? This office? Those men, I do business with them. What is it they are saying?
No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe it happened.
What was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God only knows.
What has he done with his money?
I haven't heard. Left it to his company, I suppose. He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know.
'Tis likely to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life I don't know anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going. If a lunch is provided, for alas, I must be fed.
Well, I never eat lunch, but I'll offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think of it, I'm not at all sure that I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met.
Spirit, of what meaning is this to me? Surely they speak not of Jacob, for that was in the past, and you reign over the future. Spirit. What is this place? I do not know any of these people. This looks like the shop of a low-browed junk dealer.
Well, what have you got to sell? Well, what have you got to sell?
Half a minute's patience and you shall see. Here.
What do you call this? Bed curtains?
Bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took him down, rings and all, with him lying there dead?
Yes, I do. And why not?
You were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
I certainly won't hold back my hand when I can get something in it by reaching it out for the sake of a man like him. I promise you. Now, don't spill anything on the blankets.
His blankets?
Whose else's, do you think? He isn't going to catch a cold without him now. You can look at this shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole in it or a threadbare place. It's the best he had, and a fine one, too. They'd have wasted it had I not been for me.
What do you call wasting it?
Putting it on him to be buried in, to be sure. Somebody was fool enough to do it, and I also got quite a pretty sum of money. He frightened everyone away when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead.
Spirit, I see the case of this unhappy man might well be my own. My life tends that way now. It's a merciful heaven. What is this?
The scene had changed. Scrooge recoiled in terror, for now he almost touched a bed. A bare, uncurtained bed on which beneath a ragged sheet lay something covered up. The room was very dark, too dark to be observed, though Scrooge was anxious to know what kind of room it was. A pale light fell straight upon the bed, and on it, bereft, unwatched, unwept, and uncared for, was the body of a man, quite alone.
Spirit, this is a fearful place. In leaving it, I shall not leave its lesson. Trust me. Let us go. I understand you. You wish me to lift the cloth, and I would do it if I could. But I have not the power. Spirit, I have not the power. Oh, Spirit, if there is any person in the town who feels emotion caused by this man's death, then show that person to me, Spirit, I beseech you. Yet another place. The Cratchits. But it's so quiet. So very, very quiet. Bob, his wife, his children. But I see no Tiny Tim. Spirit, where is Tiny Tim?
You went today, Robert? It's Sunday.
Yes, my dear. I promised him I would walk there on a Sunday. My little, little child. Dear God, my Tiny Tim. My little boy.
Robert. Robert.
Spirit, something tells me that our parting moment is at hand, but I know it. But I know not how. Tell me the meaning of these visions. Tell me what man that was whom we saw lying dead. Spirit, I pray you, speak! What's this? A graveyard? This is a wretched place, Spirit. You point to a stone. Is this the grave of the man we saw? Spirit, please, please. Before I draw near to that stone, answer me one question. Are these shadows I have seen the shadows of things that will be? Or are they shadows of things that may be only? Still you point. Say that I may change the things that I have seen. Still not a word. The stone, it reads, Ebenezer Scrooge! No, Spirit, no. Am I that man? Am I that man? But I am not the man I was. I will not be the man who lies in this grave. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Spirit, show me that I may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life. Oh, Spirit, I will honor Christmas in my heart, and I will try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, tell me that I may sponge away the writing on this stone. I beg you, Spirit!
Holding up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, he saw an alteration in the phantom's wooden dress. It shrank, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost. Yes, the bedpost was his own.
My bedpost?
The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in.
Jacob Marley! Heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob. On my knees. My curtains, they are not torn down. The bed curtains, they are not torn down. They are here. And I am here. The shadows may be dispelled. Oh, they will be. I know they will. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as merry as a schoolboy and giddy as a drunken man. Oh, there's the window where I saw the wandering spirits. It's right. It's all true. It all happened. Oh, I don't know what day of the month it is or how long I've been among the spirits.
Running to the window, he opened it and put out his head. No fog, no mist, just clear, bright, jovial, stirring cold, bright golden sunlight, merry bells, glorious morning.
Hello! Hello, you there! Boy!
What, sir?
Hello, boy! What's today?
Today, sir? Why, it's Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. It's Christmas Day. Hello, my dear boy!
Yes, sir?
Do you know the butcher shop on the next street at the corner?
I should hope I did.
Yeah, he's an intelligent boy. An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hung there? You know, the big one.
The one as big as I am?
Yes, my buck. What a delightful boy. What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
Is it? Go and buy it.
Oh, Walker.
No. I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell him to bring it here and that I may give him direction where to take it. Come back with the man and I'll give you a shilling. Oh, come back with him in less than 5 minutes and I'll give you half a crown.
Yes, sir.
I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's house. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Such a joke it will be sending it to Bob Cratchit's house.
Scrooge went to church and walked about the streets and found everything that could yield him pleasure. He had never dreamed that any walk could bring him such happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his steps toward his nephew's house, passing the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock.
Why?
Fred, nephew.
Bless my soul.
It is I, your Uncle Scrooge. I have come to dinner. Won't you let me in, Fred?
Why, well, yes, Uncle, yes, but
Merry Christmas to you and all your house.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Uncle. Come in.
But he was early at the office the next morning. Oh, he was early. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late, that was the thing he had his heart set upon.
1:15 and no Bob. Oh, I shall fix him, I will. Hello? Oh, what do you mean by coming in here late at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I'm behind my time.
You are? Yes, I should say you are.
It's only once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
Now, I'll tell you what, my friend. I'm not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore...
Yes, sir?
And therefore... I'm about to raise your salary.
What?
Merry Christmas, Bob.
Bless you, sir.
Merry Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you in many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family, and we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a bowl of steaming punch. Bob, make up the fires. A large fire, mind you, before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas, Bob.
And Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend and as good a laugh, too. And that was quite enough for him. He never saw a spirit again, but lived a changed life ever after. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas as well as any man could. May that be truly said of each of us and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
You have been listening to WDHL's production of the holiday classic A Christmas Carol. Featured in today's cast are Tim Perino as Ebenezer Scrooge, Jeff Hartman as Jacob Marley, Elizabeth Harris as the Ghost of Christmas Past, Jim Stump as the Ghost of Christmas Present, Seth Feinauer as Bob Cratchit, Leslie Taylor as Mrs. Cratchit, with Tommy Kramer, Walter Topp as the Cratchit children, and Mary Hartman as Martha. John Baca as Scrooge's nephew, Elliot Hankins as young Scrooge, Hannah Deesman as Fan and Scrooge's fiancée, Greg Puccino as Fezziwig, Elaine Deal as the chairwoman and Mrs. Fezziwig, David Roth as the beggar, Will Timmer as the man 1 and man 4, Louis Tallarigo as man 3 and the party guest, Walter Topp as the turkey boy, and Tommy Kramer as Tiny Tim. Music was written and arranged and performed by Greg Dusterlung. Sound effects were created by Mike Martini, assisted by Bryce Hersner. Eileen Lawrence was our stage manager. This production was produced and directed by Greg Procaccino. And I am your announcer and narrator, Bob Allen. Wishing all of you a Merry Christmas from all of us.